What's going on, my wonderful students? Here we are. We're going to review. So we need help with division. I'm going to do 3 problems. First problem, dividing doesn't even include a remainder. It's just no remainder. Then we are going to do a problem that is going to have a remainder. Then we're going to do the exact same problem, but instead of having a remainder, we're going to use decimals. So check it out. Let's review. When we do division, we have to use the acronym does dad, mom, sister, brother, Rover, the pet, to help us remember the steps for division. So dad tells us to divide, mom tells us to multiply, sister tells us to subtract, brother tells us to bring down, and Rover the doggy tells us to repeat all the steps. So we have the whole family supporting us on this. First problem, 210 divided by 5. Before I even start, I think to myself, is 210 even divisible by 5? I try to connect those divisibility rules to and apply it to what I'm learning right now. This ends with a 0. So yes, anything that ends with a 0 or a 5 is divisible by 5. I will not have a remainder here. I am guaranteed. So here we go. Dad tells me to divide. Can 2 be divided by 5? No. You can place an X here, or you could just put nothing. 21. Can 21 be divided by 5? Yes, it can. Not evenly, but it can. So you think to yourself, 5 times what gets me close to 21? So 5 times 4. I put 4 above the 1. And now mom tells me to multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. Sister tells me to subtract. My answer is 1. Now brother comes around and says, hey, you got to bring down the next digit. So here we go, we bring down the 0. Rover says, you gotta repeat all the steps. So go back to dad. Dad tells you to divide. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Every time I place an answer, I have to place it at the top, and that's where we're going to find our quotient, okay? So we put 2 at the top. Mom tells me to multiply again, I'm not done. 2 times 5 is 10. Sister tells me to subtract, and I get 0. I keep going until there's nothing else to bring down. And in this case, there's nothing else to bring down. There's a 0 remainder. So my final answer is 42. 42 is my quotient. 5, remember, my divisor. And 210, we have to remember, is called the dividend. All right, awesome. Let's move on. More complicated problem. 2006. Divided by 4. 2006 is my dividend. Remember, you hear the word den in dividend. So it's kind of like a living room inside of a little house. All right. And we have 4 as our divisor. He's wearing a visor outside of the house. That's why remember it's divisor. And we're going to get a quotient as our final answer. So I go through the motions again. Same motions. Can 2 be divided by 4? No, it cannot. Can 20 be divided by 4? Yes, it can. 5 times. I put the 5 right above that 0. I want you to be very careful because in this problem, there's 2 zeros in the center of that number. And I want you to be very careful that you still go through the motions of divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat. Don't get confused. 5 times 4 is 20. I subtract. Sister tells me to subtract. I get 0. When that happens, brother tells me to bring down the 0. I have to go through the motions. Rover tells me to repeat. I divide again. And I have to ask myself, can 0 be divided by 4? No, it cannot. I don't just move down the 6. I have to put up here at the top. No, I was not able to do 0 divided by 4. The answer was no. So I put a 0. You cannot put an X there. You need to actually put a number. 0 times 4 is 0. Subtract. I'm still going through the motions, right? After subtracting, now I bring down the 6. Can 6 be divided by 4? Yes, it can. 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, I get 2. Is there anything else to bring down? There's nothing to bring down. That means I'm done. Now I'm going to write my remainder. Remainder means what's left over. What's left over that I can't make a group of 4 with, because our goal is to make 2006 into groups of 4. I can't make another group of 4 because I have a remainder of 2. That means that 2 is left over. My answer is 501, remainder 2. Keep that number in your mind. In fact, I'm going to write it here on the side, 501. remainder 2, because we're going to redo the exact same problem with a decimal instead of a remainder. So this time, I'm going to divide, and I'm going to use decimals. 2006, divided by 4. 4 can't go into 2, but it can go into 20. We learned that. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract 0, bring down that 0. 0 divided by 4. 0, can't do it. 0 times 4. 0, subtract, get a 0, bring down 6. All right, I asked myself again, can 6 be divided by 4? Yes, I can. 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, I get 2. All right, this is where things change. Before, I would just write remainder 2. Now, it's time to use a decimal. When there is no remainder, there's a remainder here and there's nothing else to bring down, I'm going to plop a decimal up in that section for the quotient. And I'm going to add a 0 and bring it down. Now I can go through the motions of dividing, multiplying, subtracting. So I'm going to write 20 divided by 4. I can do it. It's 5. 5 times 4 is 20. I subtract, I get 0. Now I'm done. I have 0 when I subtract. There's nothing else to bring down. We're good. But I want you to think about this answer. What does 0.5 even mean? Well, 0.5 means I have 5/10. 5/10 is the same thing as a half. So this is 5 in the 10th place. 5/10 is the half. If you think of this as money, $501.50. If I were just add a 0 here, that would be 50 cents, which would be half of a dollar. So basically 0.5 means a half. Now I want you to go back to this answer, remainder 2. When I said I had remainder 2, I need 4 to make a complete group, but I had 2 left over. So that 2 is half of this 4. So this means that I have a half of the group that I need to remain, okay, to make a whole, the next half to make the next whole. So please keep in mind what a decimal means. Like when you're even doing the answer, think about what even means. All right, boys and girls, good luck with that. I'm gonna give some more complicated division problems soon.